Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our commodities technical analysis update, take a look at what's going on out there. I'll give you my financial opinion, and we'll dive right into the charts, and I'll let you know what I think. So here we go. Let's dive in. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you guys like the content. Here we go. This is the DXY. DXY is popping higher. We're getting that pressure to the upside, buying pressure. So we are breaking out of this long-term downtrend right now. We're turtle heading out. The dollar is strong. What's contributing to this strength is fears in the markets of a recession and an energy crisis in other currencies, which is basically an inflationary crisis for Japan and Euro and all these other currencies that we are compared against. We are just inflating at slower speeds than them. Hence, the stronger dollar. The 10-year yield continues to move higher. This is a new shift to increasing interest rates. We're seeing that right now. This is our long-term resistance line, and we are breaking higher. Now, we've got a little gap here. I do think that this will kind of maybe work its way back to that support line and then work our way higher. But this does look quite bullish for higher yields. Higher yields is it's gonna show as weakness in stocks, weakness in bonds. I mean, the bonds is an obvious one, and that money is going to rotate into other things. It doesn't mean that money rotates immediately. It could be selling bonds, going into the dollar, a strengthening dollar, then rotate into something else. Just take some time. TLT, which is bond prices, the 20-year bond prices, gapping lower. So that weakness in bonds is still there. There's that gap lower today. We've broken to the downside. That's this upward trend line here that we've broken to the downside. And I see further downside pressure in bonds and momentum at this moment. The 30-year yield's also heading higher. So we've got basically the entire curve is heading up, 30 going up, 20 and 10. So we're heading up higher there. Commodities did sell off. Basically, we saw a lot of things sell off today. So commodities sold off today. They're not immune. They don't go straight up. Nothing goes straight up. We are getting a pullback here. Now, could this thing come all the way back to the overall trend line? It could. It very well could, and I hope it does, because it will give us better buying opportunities in commodities. Wave 1, wave 2 is still underway, and we'll see where this thing bottoms out. There it is. We'll probably head somewhere down in this range here, maybe even slightly below the trend line. Gold definitely feeling some heat with that stronger yields. So that's heading back, and we're coming back to a long-term support line of about 1680. Looks like we almost touched the support line today. Here's the daily candlesticks right here. We have a little wick on the bottom. We touched it last time here. We came all the way up and over, and now we're touching it again. Question is this a good time to be buying? Well, if I see strength, I would say yes. But we have to see strength first. If this just keeps knocking off downside candlesticks, then it could head lower. But the momentum right now is definitely down, and we're waiting for a specific turning point around this support zone. And we're getting to that support zone here very soon. Silver is getting we're a little bit below that support level. We do have a wick on the bottom showing us that there's at least some buying pressure down here. We zoom out a little bit. That's what the candlestick looks like. There's been a lot of transactions that happened in this region here. So it's right all happening below us. I think we'll see strong support below us, and we'll have to see when that support kicks in. But I think it could kick in at any second. So this is a hammer candlestick. Usually it's a reversal pattern, but I'd like to see some buying pressure before saying, yeah, it's good to go. Platinum also seeing some selling pressure. I like platinum. I'm looking for a reversal candlestick, and I have no problems buying more in this general vicinity. I think this is a steal. So, and remember, I'm a long-term investor. It doesn't matter if this moves up and down for a couple of years. I'm accumulating for the long term. It is a store of value, and I think platinum will go substantially higher after these fears blow over us. XAU to gold. Again, the mining company is still showing weakness. We've broken out of this channel to the downside. We still have downside momentum. The mining companies are exhibiting some weakness here. We're seeing more weakness in SILJ. We're at support, still getting a little bit more weakness here. I would be waiting for strength to show up in the markets before adding into positions. This didn't look bad before it. We had a nice, good trend line break. We came back in a falling wedge and broke the falling wedge. And right now, we're just moving lower, looking for a reversal point somewhere. GDX doing the same thing. We're still heading lower. We had a trend line break here, but we kind of just failed to do any sort of launch. I call that failure to launch. But we're still heading lower. Lots of fears in the market. We've got good support underneath us. Right where it's at, there's a lot of support. So we've got this kind of other support all coming through this vicinity. All in here is support. Lots of trading that's happened in that area. Looking at crude oil still selling off. You know, this is a little bit weird. We've got positive fundamentals. We've broken the downtrend line here. Let's do the dailies here real quick. We've got positive inventory data. And we broke out here, and then we had selling pressure. We had more selling pressure. Even though we had the buyers come in and try to push this higher, we got selling pressure the past 3 days. And I know that we had some news come out. I think they're doing more lockdowns in China, whatever is going on. But right now, yeah, we've got some weakness. I view this as a buying opportunity whenever this turns around. Again, I'm not trying to time the short-term stuff. No one can do that. What we're looking for are trendline breaks, which we had. This was a statistical good time to get in, is that area in here. Are they pushing this lower? I don't know. It sure seems like it to me. Because we've got inventory that's eating up oil and gasoline, but yet the price is still going a little bit lower. But we'll see what happens. If this heads back lower, we've got support. Right here, I would say is good support. About 80 bucks. So we'll see if this thing hits 80. I'm going to be watching the companies, and I will be loading in when we get a turnaround in some strength. That may happen after elections or right around elections. I have a feeling they're trying to push this down for elections. They basically have come out and said they're trying to do that. That is their goal. They're releasing Strategic Petroleum Reserve releases, and I don't know what they're going to do after that. Because when those releases stop, that's going to be a gap that is going to need to be filled somewhere. So the prices cannot be sustained down here if you're not releasing 5 to 8 million barrels a week. Natural gas still remaining resilient where it's at. Could we get downside pressure here? I hope so. I hope so. Why? Because I don't mind buying more. I don't think that they have any solutions in place for our energy needs over the next 5 to 10 years. So I'm going to remain long, and I'm going to look for buying opportunities on weakness. When the weakness shows up and starts to turn and head back up, I'm going to buy it. And even if it goes and heads back down a little bit longer, it's okay. I'm in it for the long haul. XOP, yeah, you know me, right on the support zone. Can this break lower? Yeah, it can. Hopefully it does. Hopefully we get back to this region in here. Love to buy some more if it does. Wow, recap went up 36%. Boom! That's cool. OIH, getting a little bit of selling pressure. Oil's coming under pressure. That's exactly what we're going to see in OIH when oil comes under pressure. But I did see a lot of positive developments yesterday. We're just getting a little bit more selling pressure today. I'm holding on, guys. I'm holding on through it. I don't have any other options anyway. I don't want to. I'm not going to sell. I like my positions, and nothing's changed, and inventories continue to draw down. Here's uranium. Uranium futures prices heading sideways. We've got the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. Let's go to the daily candlesticks. Getting a little bit of selling pressure. Could we pull back a little bit? Yeah, we could. Again, this is short term. I don't see anything wrong with this chart. It's no huge reversal pattern. We got support underneath us, which is broken. So I think we could pull back to this support line right there and then head on higher. So everything looks okay. URNM, we've got this nice strong support line, horizontal support line going across. We used it, hit it here, hit it a couple times from the top side down, upside top. I think I said that right. We've hit it all through here. So we've got strong support right underneath us. We'll see what happens over the next couple of trading days. CCJ also selling off a little bit. There's not much selling pressure here, guys. I think everything's okay. Big buying pressure, small selling pressure. Still looks good. Stair stepping higher. TAN getting a little bit of selling pressure. Still looks good here. It's just hanging out right on top of its support. So everything looks good for TAN. COPX, we're getting a little bit more selling pressure here. We've got support in this vicinity at $28 roughly, and it's just below us 70 cents. So we've come on up. We're pulling on back, getting a little pullback here. And then here's our bottom. If it were to pull back to 26.40 is what I'm seeing for a full pullback if it were to pull all the way back. CRB to S&P 500 still getting a little bit of a pullback here in the short term. We've had a pretty monster run of this breakout, and then we usually kind of pull back, and then we head higher again. So we're still looking good. We're just getting more of a pullback. Rare earth metals down 4% today. I still think that there's more downside left in this thing. Momentum's lower. Those candlesticks are quite large. And we'll probably head back maybe to this support zone at about 85, 82 is what I'm reading. Lithium, it's right on support. That's why we get this nice little candlestick at the bottom there, the wick. So we're getting some buying support here. We got to see if this trend line holds. This momentum is quite strong, so we'll see if the support line holds or not. Looking at the S&P 500, looks like that is trying to turn around today. Nice little hammer candlestick pattern today. If you look left, you can see we've got a support line that runs through this way. And we're using that support line right now as support. So we'll see if the support holds and if we can break higher in the short term. The U.S. Composite Index coming up here. Looks like it was slightly lower, down by 0.26%. It is also doing the same thing as the S&P 500. We have support running across this vicinity. We run it across here. I'm going to move it up here real quick. We've got support right through that vicinity here that we've used multiple times, couple times there, couple times there. So we'll see if we bounce and can move higher or if we're going to bounce and roll back over. But there's support right where we're at for the composite index. EEM with that stronger dollar, it's not going to like that stronger dollar. EEM heading lower by 0.8%. If we can get it to come up here. Come on, EEM. You can do it. Let's try XHB. XHB, which is the Home Builders ETF. That ETF, we've broken out of this downtrend line coming across here. We're getting a little bit of buying pressure today. It was a down day, but the momentum is heading back higher. So we've got the broken downtrend line. It hasn't shown up yet. It looks like it's still low, and there we go. And we've got another trend support line going across here at about 58.27, just below us. So we'll see if that trend line holds. We've got lumber, the LBSs. So lumber's down 1.5%. We're just basically moving sideways. Looks like we're trying to find support there. We've got cocoa futures is down 1.8%. It's probably hanging on all right because it was above its trend line here. So that still looks good. Yeah, we've got a little bit more downside selling pressure today, but we've broken through this downtrend line through here. Hopefully it shows up. We'll keep going. Wheat's down 4.48%. That is basically right at support, coming just below support. We could roll over and head lower, guys, for wheat. Looking at soybeans. Soybeans is starting to break to the downside. Looks like that could head lower for soybeans. We've got corn. That is heading lower here. Another one that's getting a little bit more pressure. Support right at 63.80. Looking at copper. Copper is heading lower. This is Dr. Copper. And this could be signaling that we have recessionary fears out there and that the market is weak or weakening. So it is looking quite weak. Looks like Moo is heading lower as well, down 0.93%. This is an agriculture ETF. If it wants to load, there we go. We do have a little bit of buying pressure today. That's why there's a wick at the bottom. We call that a hammer candlestick, where you grab the wick and the top is a hammer. You can use it as a hammer. There's the downtrend line, so we're still heading lower. This thing still looks good for a potential move higher over time. Over time, it's looking like it's trying to put in a base right where it's at. Looking at aluminum, aluminum is down lower today. Aluminum futures, and we're heading down right to that support level. So we'll see if that support level holds. But there are a lot of recessionary fears out there, and we could pull back more. And then the Baltic Dry Index not doing too well. It is also heading lower. China and the recessionary fears, the COVID lockdowns, all that stuff over there is having an impact on the Baltic Dry Index. So that is also getting heavily weighed down by those fears over in China. So that's what I've got for today, guys. Definitely give me a thumbs up if you like the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website below, Platinum membership. If you guys have questions, we have a question and answer session, 7 a.m. Saturday, Mountain Standard Time. Again, the overall markets, they are looking a little bit weak. Oil's definitely falling back. They came out with some lockdown type stuff with China. I don't know if this stuff's coordinated or what. I know they had lockdowns before, and I think like one person died. There's more people that die from the flu than that. So we'll see. There's probably something, ulterior motives. I'm not sure what those motives are to be doing all these lockdowns. But I know that the oil markets are really tight. We're seeing continued inventory draws, and it's a little weird that we're seeing oil pull back, even though we're getting inventory draws. So that's what we've got right now. Again, I'm holding on to my shares. I'm not doing anything. If we have a recession and if things start to sell off, I'm going to ride through it. That's my mentality. Could it last a little while? It very well could. But the problems aren't solved in the system. We're not flush with inventory anywhere with a lot of these things. And that's usually what ends bull markets is inventories. And we're still short all this stuff. So I'm riding it. There's no reason for me to sell this stuff. I'm a long-term investor. And I still think that we could see more upside on certain commodities. Natural gas still looks good. Could it fall back in the fall? Yes, it could. But this winter, I think, is going to get real interesting. So that's what I'm really waiting for is this winter for oil, natural gas, uranium, and we're getting a little bit more of a short-term pullback here. All right, guys, that's what we've got. I will catch you next time. This is Finding Value.